So, you're thinking about beauty school. Hey, you're in good company. Nearly 200,000 people enroll every single year, chasing that dream of being creative and, being their own boss. But behind all that passion is a massive billion-dollar industry. So the big question is it a dream investment or is it kind of a financial nightmare? Let's dig in.
Get this, over $1 billion. That's how much federal student aid, we're talking about your tax dollars here, poured into these programs in just a single academic year. It is a huge public investment in this career path.
And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It's exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to follow the money, we're going to dig into the data, and really see what kind of return on investment students are getting for taking on all that debt.
And right away, here's the kicker. And this comes straight from federal data. The thing is, even with all that training and all that debt, a lot of graduates from these programs, well, they're not earning any more than someone who just has a high school diploma. And that single fact right there has kicked off this huge wave of new rules we're going to talk about in a minute.
All right, so first clue in our little investigation here, the price tag. Because it turns out not all beauty schools are created equal when it comes to tuition. And the difference? It's absolutely jaw-dropping.
Okay, just look at this. This slide lays it all out perfectly. In Dallas, you've got two schools. They're offering the exact same 1,000-hour program. The big difference? One school accepts federal student aid, that's called Title IV funding, and it charges over $16,000. The other school, just down the road, doesn't take that federal aid, and it charges less than a third of that price. So what gives? Why the huge gap?
And believe me, this isn't some random one-off example. Serious, peer-reviewed research found this is a pattern across the board. Schools that can get their hands on federal student aid, well, they charge on average a 78% tuition premium. So the big takeaway here is that having access to those federal loans and grants seems to be what's driving the price straight through the roof.
And this table, wow, it really puts it all into perspective. On one side, you've got the Title IV schools, higher tuition, a ton of student debt. On the other side, no federal debt. But here's the thing, look at the bottom line. The licensing pass rates are basically the same. So you have to ask, right? What is all that extra money and debt actually paying for?
Okay, so because of these, frankly, pretty poor outcomes, the government has finally stepped in. You can think of it like a new referee on the field, and trust me, their calls are about to change the entire game for these schools.
And that new ref is called the Gainful Employment Rule. So what is it? Well, in simple terms, if a school wants to keep getting that $1 billion in federal aid, it now has to prove its graduates are actually, gainfully employed. That means two things. They've got to earn enough to pay back their loans, and they need to be making more money than a typical high school grad in their state. And let me be clear, this is not some passing trend. This is the new reality. Just look at this timeline. These rules were finalized, they were extended, they were even challenged in federal court by the industry, and the court upheld them. So yeah, these rules are here to stay.
So what does all this mean for beauty schools? Well, get ready for this. The Department of Education itself projects that a staggering 40% of all the career programs in the entire country that will fail these new rules are going to be cosmetology programs.
Okay, but it gets even crazier. If we zoom in and look only at the cosmetology programs that take federal aid, the picture gets incredibly stark. One major analysis found that an unbelievable 98% of them would fail the earnings test. 98%. It basically means their graduates are just not earning enough money to justify the cost and the debt they're taking on, period.
All right, so if the traditional all-in-one cosmetology path is looking this risky, what's a smarter move? Let's actually decode the career paths themselves to see where you can get the best bang for your buck, both in time and money. So if you look at the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, a clear winner pops right out when it comes to wages. Skincare specialists, estheticians, they have the highest median pay, pulling in over $41,000 a year. That's a good chunk more than cosmetologists.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the time commitment. To get a cosmetology license, you're looking at an average of 1,500 hours of training. But an aesthetics license, it's only about 675 hours on average. That's less than half the time.
So here it is, the big aha moment. Let's put those last two slides together. By specializing in aesthetics, you could earn 18% more money after finishing a program that takes about half the time, which of course means it should cost way, way less. Now that is what you call a powerful return on your investment.
All right, for the final piece of the puzzle, let's look at the schools themselves, because it turns out their business models can create totally different incentives, and that directly affects you, the student. Basically, you've got two different models. First, there's the education-first school. They make their money from your tuition. So what's their main goal? To get you trained, licensed, and out the door efficiently. But then you have the clinic revenue model. They make money from tuition and from clients paying for services that are performed by students like you. See the difference? Their incentive might just be to keep you on that clinic floor, working for longer, maybe even longer than what your state requires for a license.
And that brings us to maybe the single most important question you need to ask a potential school. Is this place focused on my education and getting me a career, or is it focused on using my unpaid work on the clinic floor to make more money? Knowing the answer to that question could literally save you thousands of dollars and months of your life.
Okay, so after all that, how do you protect yourself? How do you make a smart choice? Well, we've taken everything we've just uncovered and boiled it down into a simple, powerful student protection checklist.
Seriously, before you sign on that dotted line, run through this list. Number 1, confirm the total cost, not just the sticker price for tuition. 2, know exactly how much is a grant you don't pay back versus a loan that you do. 3, check the program hours. Does it match your state's minimum or are they adding extra? 4, ask for the hard data, their graduation rates, licensing pass rates, and job placement rates. Don't let them be vague. 5, understand the refund policy inside and out. And finally, number 6, and this is a big one, always compare at least 2 different programs on cost, time, and those outcomes we just talked about. This checklist right here is your best defense.
Look, at the end of the day, choosing a school is a massive financial investment in your future. The data we've looked at shows the risks are very real. But hey, the opportunities are real too, if you do your homework. So the final question is pretty simple. Your career is a major investment. Are you going to be the one who checks the fine print,